Hey, happy day after Christmas. I am thrilled that you're here. It's a beautiful day. And as you can see, we don't have any snow. We don't have anything anywhere. And it's been a very unusual sort of holiday season. But I'm thrilled that you're here. Thanks for showing up. And um, today we are talking about how we get trapped in our own spirituality. And because we get trapped in that spirituality, we don't let ourselves actually move forward or process things. In fact, the fact that we're too spiritual many times keeps us stuck. So, who am I? I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body mind expert. And what I do is I help women who are in narcissistic and toxic relationships. And the main way that I do that is through body work for people who live in the area and through coaching and a beautiful women's support group that we do online every week. And it's for women who are aged 40 to, let's say 80. They've done a little bit of their work. They've been to therapy, maybe. They've gotten help. They've gone the book route and the head route, and they've actually done a lot of their work. We're working with women who are a little bit older, who have who are on a good space, who've found success in their life on some level. They're functional, they're smart, they're funny, they're creative. And that's who I love to work with. And that's who ends up being attracted to everything that I do. So if that's you and you're dealing with a narcissist, then this might be the place, exactly the place that you need to be. So I was listening to a little bit of Eckhart Tolle this morning, and I'm really not a fan of Eckhart Tolle because I always thought he was too dogmatic. But I was listening to a wonderful YouTube that one of my friends, Kimberly, posted, and it's about people love at their level of consciousness. And we tend to get very angry. We tend to get very angry when a narcissist is in our life because they treat us in ways that we would never treat anyone ever. There's gaslighting, there's manipulation, there's random anger, there's emotional disruption. And even when we have felt that conflicted, we have not expressed that. We have taken a higher ground. We've taken a different route. We've kept our mouths shut. We've gone this spiritual route, which is beautiful. That's the direction you want to go. But what happens many times for people who are on a more spiritual path, what happens is uh, we do a shortcut. We try to do a shortcut around a lot of our healing work. We'd really rather just have all of the anger gone and just focus on the beauty in life and the wonderment of life and how exciting life is supposed to be. We don't want to waste our time being angry. It feels like a waste of life and it doesn't feel spiritual. Well, if you're struggling with anger around having a narcissist in your life, one of the main things that we need to focus on is doing things in order. And what that means is that your emotional world, your emotional life needs to be valued. You've spent decades probably having what you want and what you need told that it wasn't important and nobody would care anyways. And so we started to believe that. We started to believe that we didn't have any spaces where we could be ourselves, where you didn't have any spaces where you could let yourself be okay with how angry you are. Because when you try to talk to people, many times their first response is, well, if you're angry, it's your fault. You need to not be angry and you're overreacting and you're melodramatic and you're all of these things. What these people are missing is that there's a process you need to go through. Similar to any types of abuse, and being in a relationship with a narcissist is abusive. It's emotionally abusive, period. End of story. And when you've gone through any sort of abuse, people encourage you to ignore how you feel, especially if you've done it all your life, especially if you've been the one that always takes it on the chin and rises above and goes the more, wise route instead of the route that actually expresses how you feel. So anger is just as spiritual and just as amazing and just as beautiful as everything else, because a spiritual path isn't about denying part of yourself. It's about accepting part of yourself and being okay with it. And when you do accept that part of yourself, the anger goes down. When you accept the fact that you are angry, that you deserve to be angry, that you have this emotion inside of you, and that it needs to be expressed and it needs to be felt. Because if you don't, you're never going to find that higher level of beingness that you're looking for. You're never going to find that beautiful spiritual connection that you're looking for because that anger will keep getting in the way. So, what if being angry, there's nothing wrong with it? But then that means we have to look at the narcissist and say, well, if you're angry and there's nothing wrong with that, then it gets very confusing, because if we forgive a narcissist's anger, then that somehow messes with our head. Maybe we aren't good enough. Maybe people who are angry don't deserve to be happy. Maybe anger is just a reflection of how you are, a low level of consciousness or unspiritual. And spiritual people don't get angry. Spiritual people don't have emotions. They immediately go to this wise place. But you can't get to that wise place unless you work through the emotions that you actually have. And one of the things that a lot of women miss, especially when they're older, is that these emotions need to be expressed in a physical way. Maybe you've totally come to terms with it in your head. You're like, I've done therapy for decades. I've read all the self-help books. I love Wayne Dyer. I do Hay House, all of that stuff. And maybe you've done a wonderful job with your thoughts, with managing how you think. But what you haven't done as good of a job with is managing how you feel. That's because a lot of memories and a lot of emotions, if they aren't expressed, they get trapped in the body. And if they're trapped in the body, they're going to make you uncomfortable enough and they're going to force you to constantly think about how angry you are. The shortcut that you're really looking for is not to ignore how you feel. The shortcut is to give yourself a safe space where you can express it, where it's on your terms, where you're not waiting for someone to come along and push that button, where you actually say to yourself, you know what, I need to work through this. The first thing you need to do is find a safe place where you can express your anger as loudly or as crazily as you want to. Doesn't really, you have to find a safe space for you. Once you do that, once you start giving yourself permission to tap into and express how you feel, that's when the wisdom and the understanding comes on the other side. Because what's getting in the way are these strong emotions, justifiable, understandable. A narcissist is emotional abuse, which means that you're going to have a lot of anger. You're going to have a lot of conflict. You're not going to be able to rise above because you're going to be pulled and controlled by how you feel. And it'll feel like knots in your stomach. It will feel like your heart's beating too fast. It will feel like tension in your neck. It will feel like you're clenching your jaw. It'll look like you're eating too many carbs or late at night. It'll look like, an obsession over something where you can't get your mind off of it. That's anger trying to express itself and you trying to distract yourself from it. So it's important to give yourself regular anger sessions where you allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, to trigger it, but also do it in a safe space, as I said. So you want to have friends and music and love and all of that stuff on tap so that you don't get lost and trapped in your anger. That's one of the scariest things for women with anger, is that we're worried we're going to get trapped in it. And if we're trapped in it, then we're going to end up behaving just like the emotionally abusive narcissist. We're going to end up doing just the same things. There's that worry, there's that upset. But guess what? Everybody's a narcissist on one level or another, including you. And it's about the level. And just because a narcissist is the same as you, has the same anger, doesn't mean that you have a problem. What it means is that you need to start expressing your anger in healthy ways. And you know what? So does the narcissist. They have to start finding other ways to express all this inner conflict that they have. So you are not them. Being angry and expressing your anger does not make you unspiritual. What it does is it makes you healthy. But as I said, you want to look at ways that you can express your anger where it won't destroy everything. And now you have to pick up all the pieces and apologize and fix everything. And, because you overreacted to something that pushed a button because you had all this latent anger you've been harboring. You want to make sure that it doesn't give you negative consequences in the future. So, like, don't do something that'll land you in jail or destroy things. You want to find a place that's loving and kind, even if it's a place you create all by yourself, where you say, you know what, I'm going to let myself be as angry as I need to be. And when I'm tired of it and I'm frustrated with it and I want to break from it, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to listen to some music or dance around a little bit or take a walk outside and hug a tree. I'm going to do something to break me out of it. But you do need to accept it. You do need to embrace it. You do need to allow it. The difference between you and a narcissist is you are taking that anger and you're directing it in a way that does not um, create drama and upset in your regular life. It may seem dramatic and upsetting at the time when you're doing it, but if you do it in a place where it's okay, then you get healthy, you get to move it, you get to move forward, you get to heal, you get to let this stuff go, and you get to be happy. You're not going to be happy until you allow yourself to feel every single part of you. And if you take all the things that you're judgmental about, let's say the narcissist's own anger, let's say the narcissist's own abuse, and you feel all those same things, you want to hit back, you want to punch back, you want to say things back, you want to hurt back, you want to do all those things. And that's normal. But realize that if you do that with a narcissist, you're many times going to lose. You have to approach a narcissist in a place of better balance, in a place of one where you can stick up for yourself, you can speak your mind, where you aren't scared, you don't end up in shock, you don't end up hiding, and you don't end up blinded by how you feel. So if you're feeling angry for a narcissist, completely understandable. You are never too spiritual to not feel angry. Dalai Lama feels angry. All sorts of people feel angry. And it's natural and it's normal. And if you don't give yourself that space to express it, what happens is you end up it comes out in a million different other ways that you didn't want it to, and then it ends up making you feel crazier and crazier and crazier inside. And that's not what you want. So you're not too spiritual for your anger. You need to find a great way to express it that doesn't bring down more rain of terror upon you even more. And you have to love it and embrace it. And as a side effect, you stop getting so angry at the narcissist because now it's not building up. You're expressing it, you're allowing it, you're honoring it, you're valuing it, and the creative force that that anger is. And let me tell you, when you allow yourself to express these things, when you allow yourself to be fully spiritual, a bigger version of yourself than you ever thought, what happens is you find peace, you find balance, you stop getting stuck and trapped in the narcissist's games, and you're able to move forward. So it's so important that you address these emotion pieces and you address them in a way that's healthy and safe for you. Because if you don't, then you'll end up in so much conflict that you will be behaving in erratic, melodramatic ways. Because it'll be so built up, you'll feel so conflicted that you won't feel like you have much of a choice. So, okay, if you're worried that you're harboring all of this anger, I give you permission this week or within, by Monday, in order to give yourself a space to be angry for a while, justifiably angry. And what happens on the other side is you get the wisdom and the understanding that you were looking for in the first place, but you were blinded to it because of how you felt. You were blinded to it because of what you were suppressing, because of what you were trying to control, what you were trying to keep under wraps. You're blinded by that. And the only way to not be blinded by it is to accept it and love it and allow it to be exactly what it needs to be. Okay. So if you're interested, reach out. I do one on one coaching and I do this amazing group. We're doing a great discount until we get 40 women into it. We've been doing it for a few months. And it's just beautiful, wise, wonderful, successful women. They're all like aged 40 to 75. And they're women just like you who are capable and smart and successful and funny and tolerant and resilient and strong and amazing and all of that. And they have a narcissist in their life. And they need how to learn how to deal with it in a way that they can really move forward. and enjoy the rest of their life instead of being kind of trapped in that anger and that frustration. Okay, so reach out. If you let me know, I'll send you a link to the page for the group so you can check it out, see what we're doing, and see if you want to join us or not. And if you know of someone dealing with a narcissist in your life, make sure that you forward this to them, because to be healthy and whole is very counterintuitive. It's not what they taught you, but it's not as hard as you think. Okay. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm looking forward to mine. Got a lot of stuff I got to get done today. And happy day after Christmas. I'll talk to you later. Bye.